Sports Ramble here today, and it's not going to be a super in-depth one. And also, I'll talk about it after I do a little bit of the ramble. But I was looking at Premier League fantasy stuff on the website, on my laptop, and I'd gotten a message on Instagram, and person was talking about fantasy league. I was like, that's funny. I was actually thinking about that. So if anybody's interested in that fantasy Premier League, he told me about the app. I need to download it, Fantasy Premier League app. It's the same thing, I guess, as the website. I just didn't know they had an app. I should have assumed they had an app. But let me know if anyone's interested in doing a little fantasy Premier League. I can start up a league, give out the code or whatever it is to get in, and just go from there. But I use this video as Sports Ramble and gauge interest in that. But anyway, I'll talk about that again a little bit here. I'm just going to do NBA news real quick. Obviously, the bigger news was Giannis got traded to the Heat. That was a while ago. I probably mentioned that. Ja Morant got traded to Portland. And LeBron ended up signing with Philadelphia. So, a lot of people thought it was going to be the Heat or the Cavs. And he didn't go to the Heat, so the Heat fans are sad now. I was watching Lebatard show, and they were like, part of it I feel like is them obviously faking it, but like also like they're super upset and making like, oh, this could happen in Philadelphia. Embiid's probably not going to play, and this, and the other. It was probably still a better fit than Miami or Cleveland or anywhere else. They have a pretty stacked starting five. Cat wants to go out. She's going out right now. Now, of course, Embiid needs to be healthy. That guy ain't playing more than like 50 games, realistically. They got him cheap, though. It was like 2 years, $8 million. If that starting five is... Like, someone made a good point, I think, about that. I think it might have been Bill Simmons or somebody. That's the team you're afraid of if all five of those guys are starting on any night and you're playing them. Of course, it blows up. I mean, they have Anthony Simons as well. I guess he'd be their sixth man, but let's see what happens. I mean, obviously, of course, and that goes anywhere. I think Giannis has been hurt recently too, hasn't he? I feel like all the guys on every team get fucking hurt. If these guys can squeeze out 60 games, it's like a big deal. Back in the day, dudes would just play 82 games. If they played like less than 75, you'd be like, bum. They most likely got a serious injury if they didn't play more than 75. But, yeah, so he's on them. The NBA season will be starting in a couple of months here. NFL's right around the corner. I would assume preseason's starting up very soon. I don't know who Denver's playing the first week of the season. Is it Kansas City, like right out of the gate? I have to look at that. I know Denver traded for Waddle with Miami. But other than that, I don't even know this. Like, I haven't been paying attention. This is kind of a pretty weak sports round because honestly, I haven't been paying attention to jack shit. I just don't care. I've been more focused honestly on the Premier League. Once the football season actually starts, I'll start, doing the updates and stuff. But yeah, the KC is their first game, and it's 8:15 on Monday, so it's a Monday Night Football game. Then Jacksonville, the Rams, San Francisco, Chargers, Seattle, Arizona, KC again, Carolina, Vegas, Pittsburgh, Miami, the Jets, Vegas again, Buffalo, New England, and the Chargers again. Oh, the first preseason game is against Atlanta on 8/14, so the season starts a little late, actually. It was 9/14, I think, their game. It'd start that Thursday this season, most likely. So that would be what? Like the 10th or the 11th, whatever. Islanders didn't really sign anybody of note. There was one dude they signed that's pretty decent, could be better. Like, could end up doing better for the Islanders. Like, he had like 30-some points last year. He's been pretty solid. I forget his name. I'm not even going to look it up. Like I said, I just don't care. I just haven't been paying attention. That's kind of why I haven't been doing sports rambles. But then I get asked for them, so I figured it's a good way to squeeze in this Premier League fantasy stuff as well. Let me get into baseball real quick. I'm going to go through the standings and then some stats. I've been kind of just following the standings of baseball, but not the players. I know Aaron Judge is still hurt. The Rays are in first in the AL East, followed by the Yankees. I got a 2.5 game lead. Boston's in third at 55-50. They had like a 14-game winning streak recently. Followed by Baltimore and Toronto. So defending AL champs are most likely missing the playoffs. They did lose shit to the Mets. We'll get to the Mets in a second. The White Sox are in first in the AL Central by 2 games over Cleveland. So the White Sox, they were like 2 years ago, I think it was. They were like the worst team, one of the worst teams in the history of the league. And now they're in first place, 105 games into the season. KC's at the bottom of that division at 45-62. It's Chicago, Cleveland, Minnesota, Detroit, and then KC. The AL West is weak as shit. Texas is 54-52 in first place. Negative run differential. Houston's in second, under 500 with negative 45. Seattle is a +8. 3 games under 500. And then the A's and the Angels are awful. They both have low 40s in the wins. Atlanta and NL. Atlanta's 62-44 in first by 5.5 over Philadelphia. Washington is also over 500 by a game. Marlins are a game under. The Mets are terrible, 45-62. They're having one of those years where it's like there's like these little spurts that come, and then they immediately go on a losing streak because it's just like, dude, accept it. Nothing's gonna go right this year. Do what you got to do with trades and stuff, and just let the year suck. Yeah. NL Central, Milwaukee 66-40. They have a 6-game lead over the Cubs, who are 60-46. Pittsburgh's in third, or 3 games over 500. St. Louis is 500, and the Reds are 6 games under. That's probably the best division in the league. AL West, Dodgers 67-39. They do have the best record in the league. 1 game over the 2 best records in the league are both in the NL. Milwaukee and the Dodgers are 67-39 the best, with a plus 155 run differential, which is also the best. Followed by Milwaukee. Nobody in the AL has 100 plus, but they are the only 2 teams that actually are plus 100. Atlanta is plus 96. They're followed by they have a 12.5 game lead. The rest of their division, like the Padres were right there. They took like a 1 game lead over them, like, this was like 20, 30 games ago. And then the Dodgers just picked up the pace, and Padres fell apart. Arizona's in second, 3 games over 500. The Padres are at 500, and San Francisco and Colorado are god-awful. It's very much like the AL West, except the Dodgers have the best record in the league. They actually have a team in first place that has a good record. Not a couple games over 500. Do they have the most runs scored, the Dodgers? No. Don't tell me the Pirates do. No. Man, the AL is pretty weak, I gotta say. Honestly. They only have 2 teams over 500 runs scored. And the NL has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Colorado scored 507 runs in their last place because they've given up 617. They play in Colorado too, so that thin air. The Nationals have the most runs scored with 586, followed by the Pirates at 556. The Cubs at 548. Dodgers at 546. Runs against, who has the lowest? Probably the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers at 391. Boston's at 394. I think they're the only two teams under 400 runs allowed. Let's go to some stats. See who's leading the league and what. Batting average, Lopez on Miami. Lopez. 331. Followed by Arraez on San Francisco, 326. Alvarez on Houston, 323. Gonzalez on Pittsburgh, 315. Diaz on Tampa at 303. And then you have Lee and Friedman, Giants and Dodgers, 302, 301. Then everybody else is under 300. OPS. Who leads the league in OPS? Cat really wants to go out. I apologize for being annoying. Alvarez with the only guy right now over 1,000 OPS is Alvarez on Houston. Soto 947, Rice on the Yankees 947, Wood on Washington 953, Crow Armstrong on the Cubs 928. I'm just saying names now; they're not in the order. Ohtani's at 907. Not a lot of guys over 900. Judge is over 900, I believe, but he's not played enough games at this point now, I guess. Who's got the most homers? I hit triples. Carroll on Arizona has 15, leads the league in triples. I think he's the only guy with double digits. Alvarez has got 34 homers, too. This guy's ripping it up. I mean, I know he's been good for a while, a long time, but he's got 34 homers. Schwarber at 33 on the Phillies. Goodman in Colorado, 31. Ben Rice on the Yankees, 31. Wood has 30 on Washington. Those are the only guys with 30 or more. Yeah. There's steady Pete Alonso on Baltimore, 22. Used to be on the Mets. That guy is like one of the most steady players in the league. Like, his OPS is typically in the 8s. It's never like outrageously good, but it's very solid. He always ends up popping at like 40, late 30s to like 50 homers. Usually he's in the 40s. I think he had 50 in his rookie year. Gets a good amount of ribbies. He played all the games the last 2 years, and I think he's played every game this year so far. When Johnny has 22, he's missed time. Who leads the league in strikeouts? Since everybody now strikes out like crazy, because it's feast or famine, right? It's like go for the long ball. It's worth the most, or strike out. Schwarber 157, Wood with 147. Neto on the Angels 146. Back in the day, it was like Rob Deere struck out a shit ton, and I feel like 20 guys will strike out more than he did, and he was striking out well over 200 times. These players are all better than him, but he would bat like 190, I feel. Have like 30 homers, 230 strikeouts. Let's go to some pitching. ERA leader is Misiorski. I said that wrong, I'm sure. On the Brewers, 158. Schitler on the Yankees. Is that how you say it? Because that's how it looks like it's spelled. He's at 207. Sale. Is that Chris Sale in Atlanta, 219. Yamamoto on Dodgers, 272. I'm going bouncing all over the place. Cease on Toronto, 246. I want to look at strikeouts then. Ohtani's got a super low ERA, but I don't think he's probably pitched enough for them. The guy in Milwaukee has 185. Cease on Toronto has 167. Sanchez, Philadelphia, 157. Skeens, I always say his name wrong. Is it Skeens? 150-49 for the Pirates. What is he? His ERA is up this year, isn't it? 331. I want to look at it, Ohtani. Is this, I just have not been paying attention to sports really at all. Outside of getting up some news on Aston Villa and following the World Cup a bit. The other stuff I haven't cared. Let's see what his pitching is. He's got a 1.79 ERA. He's actually pitched 14 starts. He's 8-2. But if he doesn't pitch enough, he's not going to get the Cy Young. And I think they're holding him out right now because he's banged up. That's a bit of a sports ramble there. Not the best, but like I said, once like this stuff, actually this shit, basketball starts up, football, hockey, I'll start to get into shit more. I just haven't been following anything outside of the World Cup and like what Aston Villa's been doing. They just signed a Garnacho. I don't know who he was on. Was it Manchester United? A lot of people said he has bad attitude and stuff, but he's got the promise. Emery wanted him, I believe, so they got him. I like the guys they picked up, honestly. They've played some friendlies. They lost to Porto, FC Porto. They're actually playing Real, is it Sociedad? That's 11 minutes in. They had a guy in the preseason, I guess, right? They had a dude, Luca Lynch, is that his name? He's been doing pretty well. Well, they have more of their regular dudes playing today. Buendia, Cash, Mings, Maitson, Bizzo is in net. It's like hockey. He's in net. I guess they're playing the regular dudes here. I like how it has lineup and you can just go to transfer value and their age and where they're from. It's so weird. You want to look at the lineup, here's their transfer value. I want to see their... did I get that guy's name right? I'm just going to go... I wanted to look at all their matches. You stupid thing. Let's go to the squad. Emery's only 54, huh? Their coach. This guy is not here now. Is he like one of their younger dudes or something? They're under 21 shit. They're letting these guys play. I don't know. I could have sworn that's his name. Let's look at their matches. Because he did well in this game against Walsall. Yeah, all right. There is a guy named Lynch. All right. I wasn't thinking that. Yeah, Luca is first. Now, I don't know. These guys are just, younger players. Like officially on the team. They're getting called up to play. I don't know. I don't know how it works. They are playing, they play PSG. PSG. They play the power company. They play... What did I do here? They play them soon. I don't know what it is exactly. But let me go to this Fantasy Premier League. Like I said, if anybody's interested, let me know in the comments. And I will do it. It doesn't need to be a ton of people that are interested, but maybe get 10, 15 people in there. Maybe it's more. I don't know. Yeah, they have them here now. Fantasy Premier League. I guess I'll download that later. If anybody's interested, obviously let me know in the comments. I can set the league up in maybe the coming weeks before the season, obviously. Maybe because I think they saw you can... They give you I saw one that was they give you $100 million budget. You got to sign players. I like those ones. I used to do the football, American football, for 11 years. I did hockey for 5 or 6 years as well. Those were drafts we did. But I used to do on ESPN, I used to do the one where they just give you some money and you just got to use your can't go over your spending or whatever and sign it. That's just easier because obviously get enough people. A draft's going to be a pain in the ass of people from all over the place. So I'll look into that and I'll let everybody know. In the coming days, I'll probably do another video. I'll talk about it a little more. If people show interest and go from there. I got no problem doing it. Honestly. But this is to kind of gauge some interest in it. We get 10, 15, maybe 20 people in there. Who the hell knows? I was looking at it because the person I was talking with Instagram, it's another way to watch it and get into other players and stuff. Learn more about players and just show more interest in other games. It was the same thing with football and hockey when I was doing those. I was following those sports more, but like when I was actually doing the fantasy football, I was still like pretty heavily following football until like the last like maybe 3 or 4 years I did it. I lost some interest, but yeah, just a pretty weak sports ramble. But like I said, there's some baseball stuff. I haven't been following stuff. The big news I see like LeBron, but other than that, I'm not paying attention to what other teams are doing. Like I know the Islanders, the guys the Islanders signed. I can't remember the names. A bunch of dudes for like 1 year. They didn't really improve their team much. I'm hoping some of the guys they have in the pipeline, like Eklund, I think it's Yzerman, not Steve Yzerman. I think is it Cole Yzerman? A guy he drafted a couple of years ago. Him, Eklund, a couple of defensemen floating around in the system as well. The Islanders need somebody to step the fuck up and score goals. I'm hoping now with DeBoer as coach, he brings an offensive, like, maybe he can get, like how Trotz was able to get a ton out of the team defensively and it helped them. This guy can get a lot out of them offensively. But anyway, how's your baseball team doing? Like I said, let me know in the comments if you're interested in Fantasy Premier League. I'll download. I'm going to download that app later. Check it out. Boom, boom, boom. Get in there or whatever. And then let me know if you're interested. And then I'll set up a league. I'll probably just call it Slip into Shadows, whatever. And, give you the code or however it works. And get people in there. And hopefully it's just, use your 100 million or whatever you have. And then when the season starts, it starts. I think it said you have like unlimited transfers until the season starts. And then I don't know if they do it like a weekly thing, how they do it. But yeah. Thanks for checking this out. And have a good day.